Okay, so Double Red Duke was essentially, we opened a year to the day, really. It was a 8-month project, so I moved from London after working in top restaurants for 24 years, hotels, and this was an opportunity to kind of stamp my kind of character on the site as well and start it from scratch. So originally we walked in here and it was a 16th century site, so it was an old coach house. The name originates essentially from 16th century, where a duke helped to build the site and also grew a corn called the Double Red and gave it out to the locals around the area. So it's a bit of a fable from a gone year. So but this was essentially me coming and kind of putting my imprint on the site and my beliefs on service and food, and we wanted to kind of create something really quite unique. Hence why the open kitchen, hence why we run with no gas. Charvet was very much an important part of that as well. We're using clay ovens to the right, so apple and cherry wood, locally sourced from Ascot-under-Wychwood, only about 10 miles away from here. And we just wanted to create something kind of a bit left field from the norm that is the Cotswolds and Oxfordshire, and to work with Henrik on the menu and create something with a really quite modern feel, but while also not kind of recreating the wheel here, we're just producing great quality food cooked how it should, as we believe.
I've come from a small island on the northwest coast of Sweden, and I grew up on a sheep farm, and we also grew lots of organic vegetables on the farm. So mainly working on the farm all summer holidays was pretty much what I did. My mum was always cooking a lot, so I kind of got the interest of cooking from her. I think mostly I was hanging out with her in the kitchen a lot. It used to be my duty to start cooking the meals on Saturdays, every Saturday. So I sort of shot myself in the foot. Started working in some small restaurants in Gothenburg. Managed to get a good position in a very good fish restaurant called Fiskekrogen, where I worked for about 3 years. And then went to London, sort of wanted to further my career, and everyone said that London was a great place to go. So I said to my parents I'll be back in a year. And then I went, and I was sort of been here since. So I worked with Jeremy Lee at the Blueprint Cafe a long time ago, and with Phil Howard at the Square. So that was kind of my formative years. And then I went back to Sweden again for a bit and worked for 1.5 years, 2 years. Went traveling, Australia, Southeast Asia for a bit, and then ended up back here in England because I thought I wasn't finished with London. So mainly lived in London my whole career, the time I've been here. And then me and my wife's from Gloucestershire area, so we moved out in 2019 to be here in the countryside. The last place in London I was head chef was Aquavit. I was executive chef, and we set up a Nordic restaurant in a Nordic brasserie rather than a restaurant in London. So it was a big space and a big setup in St James's Market. We opened late 2016, and it's basically a sister restaurant to the 2-star restaurant in New York. So it had a good pedigree, and we worked very hard. We managed to get a Michelin star after 10 months. So it was a great time. And then this came this sort of landed on my feet, this place here, which is an amazing place, and yeah, I jumped at it because I'm basically half an hour down the road. It's got great potential here. Me and Sion have worked before in the same company. The general manager, Sion, we work very well together. We have, yeah, it's a good setup. Yes, so the food here we basically made is very stripped down, honest cooking, seasonal, and everything is sort of based around wood fire. So we do a lot of wood fire cooking. We have 20 rooms, yeah, which are pretty much full all the time. So that adds to the business. Most people eat in-house, as it were. So you know, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, it's pretty constant. It's good.
The Charvet range, which is a beautiful range in that kitchen, is, you know, was one of our first choices. We spent a lot of money on the kitchen to turn it into kind of a presentation style kitchen, small but exceptionally functional, but also to create the best food that we could. So I was working for Gordon Ramsay for 2 years. I worked for Tom Akins for 6.5 years, who's an avid Charvet range fan, who I brought over here, and he loved the look of the kitchen. So yeah, I've been using Charvet for many a year, and clearly it's a beautiful range, and is working very well for us.
Used Charvet many times before. Actually, at Aquavit we had a huge island Charvet, and the whole prep kitchen downstairs was Charvet as well. So yeah, I'm very used to it. Very good. The Charvet range, probably my favourite is probably the induction hobs. I think, yeah, because it saves you during a busy service. You can always turn them on. Yeah, it's and I find they are really useful because you can really get the exact temperature that you want. It's pretty hot in there, so yeah, it's pretty good that you can just turn they only cook when you have something on it. So yeah, that's a benefit of it, definitely. It's on show, yeah. So we have a whole, basically the way the kitchen is set up is a long chef counter, so people can sit and eat on the counter. So we have a lot of people sitting, asking us a lot of questions. And we talk, communicating with them and talking to them, and they're really engaging about their food and everything. Yeah, so people love it. Yeah, it finishes off the kitchen completely because you start with the wood fire bit and then you come into the Charvet range, which looks really smart with the whole black front cover, which looks very good. You can feel that it has quality through and through, and has, you know, you can see this been engineered through time, and definitely you know, that gives you a bit of a reward and a sort of sense of security as well when you're cooking on it. You know it's going to last, and you know it's going to be brilliant.